Welcome to a special edition of the Moxley View. I had to share some thoughts about this horrific tragedy that happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota in regards to George Floyd. But before we get into that, I wanted to share that if you haven't noticed, I am a white male. And that's something that I can't change. All of us are born a specific race. We can't change that. All we can do is move forward. All of us should be proud of who we are, where we came from, and where we're headed. But in that, I also want to say that I am not the type to typically jump on a bandwagon immediately, to see one thing and think that that is all of it. I try to be patient and wait for information to come out in regards to a specific situation, a news story, whatever it may be. The problem with what we all witnessed with this George Floyd murder was that I don't know if there's any other information that could potentially or possibly ever come out that would change my feeling or my view on how horrific that was and what happened to this man. That is not the type of behavior that we as Americans should ever have to deal with. I have been sheltered where I live in New Mexico. I've never experienced racism. I couldn't even begin to tell you what it is, how it happens, what goes on. All I know is that I live in a place where there's people of every race and creed, any type of belief system you could think of, but we all get along. It's just not something that I see or feel. It's just a crazy thing to even for me to wrap my head around. I was raised with a family that it just didn't exist. There was no reason to hate or think that about anybody else just because they were different. Now, in that, we're not blind. We see that we're different. We see those things. But something that we have to embrace is the fact that we are different. This isn't something that should cause separation. This is something that should cause celebration. We're supposed to come together and cherish our differences and enjoy the fact that we are different. That's what makes us who we are. America used to be called the Great Melting Pot because we had so many different races and creeds and beliefs and religious freedoms and things here that you don't have in other places. But we have that here. And for whatever reason, we see things like this that are horrific. It's not something that I am proud of at all, something that I really wish that our country didn't have, but it's here. And the unfortunate thing is that where we live as human beings, there is evil. Evil is all around us. Everywhere we go, there is evil. We witnessed it firsthand. We watched this man basically be suffocated for what? For what? It's almost incomprehensible to even fathom. And what's even worse is to think that there was other men there that could have stopped it, but they didn't. I'll be the first to tell you, though, I strongly believe that 99% of law enforcement are incredible people. I know some, and they're phenomenal human beings. They would do anything for you. And the next time you're facing some trial or situation in your life where you need help, you're going to dial 911, and they're going to come to help you, to come to your aid, because that's their job and that's what they signed up to do. But unfortunately, there's a small percentage of them that aren't that way, and we see it more and more now. But in that, I saw Will Smith, and forgive me for if I butcher this quote, but basically he had said that racism hasn't increased in the United States, but videotaping of it has. So we see these things all the time that we may never have seen before. And I'm probably guilty of that too. I told you I'm sheltered from it. I don't see a whole lot of stuff going on. I really don't. You hear stories every once in a while. You may see something. But what we witnessed there was horrid. And I'm praying that justice is served. We need to be careful about trying to make this a political event. This isn't political. And if we're looking to politicians to fix things, we're looking in the wrong place. We can look to God to fix things. We can't look to politicians to fix things. We can look to politicians to mess things up. I mean, we've all seen that. But we can't be turning to politicians to think that they are going to fix things. And we can't blame politicians for egging things on or causing things to happen either. It's ridiculous. Every one of us has a personal responsibility for what we are doing in our lives, the things that we do. That we are personally responsible. We can't blame somebody else when we choose to do something like that, or even on smaller scales. We have to get off the blame game. We have to start understanding that we are personally responsible for all of the things that we do. And when we watch someone else do something, they are personally responsible for their actions as well. We can't blame other people. Everybody has to step up and stop blaming. Understand that what you do, you are responsible for. I've seen a lot of posts recently in regards to Martin Luther King and talking about the riots. And one of his speeches, he says that riots are a voice for the unheard. And we're witnessing these riots take place right now across this country. It's a travesty to watch. He also said that riots are socially destructive and self-defeating. His reason for calling it that language of the unheard is because he was trying to explain why people did what they did. They feel like they are not being heard for what they're going through, the pain and anguish that they feel on a daily basis. But by no means was he condoning the violence. He was actually speaking out against it. He didn't want those things to take place. He was just explaining why they took place. When we watch these things, these horrific tragedies take place across the United States where businesses are burned and looted, destruction taking place, that's just not who we are as Americans. It's not solving a problem, it's creating one, creating another one. People are capitalizing on something so heinous that took place, and that's at the destruction of people's businesses. There's people of all races, walks, and creeds, once again, that have built businesses in these communities that every one of these people that are going through their shop at. The economy is destroyed in these areas because of what's taken place. It was already in a bad place because of this COVID shutdown, and now this is taking place. We have to stand up, guys, and understand that we could be arm in arm in this entire situation. We don't have to separate over this. This was not about what race we are. We're human beings. You know what race we are? We're the human race. We should be caring and loving for each other, and as I said before, celebrating our differences, not dividing over them. We should be coming together for them. We're human beings that have a common goal, and that's to live and to love and to be in this place together. But destroying things, and it's destroying the statement of what was happening. That was a horrific tragedy that took place. And you'll see throughout American history, when we're faced with tragedy, we come together, we galvanize, we become one. After 9/11, it was one of the greatest times in our history. The horrific things that took place, but when that was done, we came together as a country. It didn't matter what we believed, what we thought, who we were, but we came together. This was an opportunity for us to come together. It was horrific. Everybody witnessed it. And if you saw it for anything other than what happened, you might need to check evil in yourself too, because it was just sheer out evil. We're surrounded by evil. It takes place all the time. But we've got to get past this. We have to. We have to come together. We have to show love. And these protests that are taking place, if you look around through them, one of the great things about it is there's many races out there trying to fight for this issue. We should protest. That's our God-given right here as an American citizen, that we can do that. But destroying things and making more violence take place totally defeats the purpose of what protests are about. It's not about that. Let your voices be heard by all means. It's necessary. It should be done. But first and foremost right now, guys, I pray that you just lift this country up. We need to come together as one. As I said before, we are the human race. We don't need to see differences in our skin colors as something to divide us. These should be things that bring us together. We all have something incredible to offer. We need to do that together as one. Thank you, guys. God bless America. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I know that there are other things that you could be doing. Please like us on all the social media platforms. Please give us a thumbs up here and definitely subscribe. And if you liked it, share it with your friends. And if you didn't like it, share with them anyway. Maybe they have better taste than you.